Garcia. I am a community manager for Latin America at Hackathon. And thank you for having me. I will be doing a small talk about moving from pen testing to Bug Bounty. It's more sharing my experience and the different, problems I have and I found when moving from pen testing. It would be nice to see how many of you are pen testers right now. You can raise your hand. Only one? I don't believe you guys. Come on. How many pen testers here? 1, 2, 3. Okay. And how many of you do actually Bug Bounty right now? Do you actually know what Bug Bounty is? Maybe doing that? Yes? No? Okay. I will assume you know Bug Bounty, and if you don't know what Bug Bounty is, you can reach me outside and we can have more information. So, as I was saying, I'm the community manager for Hackathon. I work at Hackathon since like 2 months. I'm pretty much new. And a lot of members of the community right now, Hackathon started in pen testing, and they are moving to Bug Bounty, and they are pretty successful right now. They're making a lot of money, and they're finding really good bugs. And so this talk is to try, to help you guys to move from pen testing and, start getting bugs as soon as possible. So, according to my experience, there are a couple of differences between Bug Bounty and pen testing. And when I was doing pen test, I used to have a really limited amount of time. Like they give me like 1 week or 2 weeks, and they say, "Hey, this is a web application. Just do some pen test, and you have 2 weeks from now, and you have to, finish the report and everything in these 2 weeks." So you have a limited time. You have to start Monday, and on Friday have the report done, and it's not super good because you're working 9 to 5, you're finding some stuff, making the report, so it's kind of green, right? And the plus side in the Bug Bounty is that you don't really have that limitation, so you can spend a lot of time if you want. But the thing is, sometimes you spend so much time that you kind of, end up getting a little run out, a little tired, and sometimes it's frustrating when you don't find out. So it's kind of a difference. I think having any time and any time frame to do Bug Bounty is really positive, but at the same time you need to find a way. You need to take care of yourself and avoid burnouts, right? Another difference I found is that normally in pen testing it's kind of okay to have low risk or less impactful bugs than in Bug Bounty. I'm not saying that pen testing don't really get good or cool bugs, but it's normally not well seen to have an empty report. You cannot go to the client and say, "Hey, I didn't find anything," so it's all right? You're doing really good. That doesn't really happen. So you kind of need to find something, right? Do you agree? You are a pen tester, so I will point you all. So sometimes you cannot just handle an empty report, right? So you just complete the actual pen test with some kind of low risk bugs, not some bugs. And in Bug Bounty, when I started doing it, it was the whole different thing, right? Oh, okay, so this is not good. 3 times. Oh. Yeah, I will try to move my finger all the time. So in Bug Bounty, you actually need to have an impact bug. They take low risk bugs, and they don't really take that much, but they actually take it. It's not like you cannot report low risk bugs, but actually the most impactful bugs is the ones you want to report, because they will pay much more money. And actually, on the other hand, you actually need to prove that risk. It's not like in Pentest that, hey, you found maybe a vulnerable software, outdated software or something, and you can say, hey, you're running outdated version or something. You need to upgrade this, but you don't really start hacking the actual OS or exploiting something. You can't just report it. Normally, pen testing clients don't really want you to exploit the vulnerability, right? So actually, background is the whole different way. They actually want you to show them the actual impact and the actual risk you found. And I will say that you actually need to replace the logo for the Pornhub in order to prove the risk, right? Please don't do that. But actually, you need to prove it that maybe with a proof of concept of doing some, the final step until you change the actual logo for the Pornhub, like one step before, and they will take that and they will be very happy. And well, something similar to what I was saying. It's okay if you report only logs, right? If you have the report and they're only low risk bugs, it's better than having an empty report in testing. But in the other hand, if you're doing bug bounty, if you just report low bugs, you won't get that much money. And in Hackathon we have signal reputation and everything, and the better bugs you report, the more money, the more signals, and the more reputation. So it's much better for you. Another difference is that in Pentesting you get a salary. Sometimes, consultant companies pay you not that well, and you're like working really hard, like from 9 to 5, sometimes extra time. And in bug bounty you get money. That's more positive if you actually find bugs, right? So you have this difference. In Pentesting you actually get a salary. You know you will make this amount of money. But if you are doing like bug bounty for living, like full time, you don't really have that monthly income, right? So you need to actually get that balance, right? Hey, I need to spend this amount of time, I need to make this amount of money, and you don't get that much of security unless you are really good and you start making a lot of money. And kind of the final difference, probably out there much more, but to start, kind of my first kind of differences I found is that when we are doing testing, we could ask 3 questions to the client and say, hey, I found this, should this be here? Do you want me to keep digging it? And background is like more you're on your own, you found something, but you cannot really ask the customer, you cannot really ask the client, so you don't really know, and you can ask for help unless, for another hacker, but not actually from the program. So these are some of the differences I found. Do you agree with me? Yeah, you're helping on it. So, how do you get started? If you want to get started, we have, these are my recommendations for it. So, first of all, you will obviously have to sign up and create an account with Hackathon. And the next step will be, if you actually are getting started in bug bounty and started in security and testing, you actually need to learn first, right? And we have a really good platform, it's called Hack101, and you can use your Hack1 account to sign up at Hack101, and we have a ton of videos, tutorials, and we have a lot of CPS, so from difficult like 0 to 13, something like that, like really easy to really hard. If you solve those CPS, which is pretty fun, you will get actually some points, and that will get you private index for private programs at Hacker. So you're actually learning, you're actually doing some CPS, which is fun, and you're actually getting private index to hack in private world, so that's cool as well. And well, you need to choose a program and start hacking. So the first step, like Hacker 101. If you are actually learning and starting, I really recommend to go there and sign up and take a look. We have like training videos from like using Borg, if you never use it, like to exploit really complicated vulnerabilities and hacking video games, for example. And actually we have video game programs at HackerOne, so it makes sense. We have Blizzard, Valve, and mobile companies, and we have a lot of video games programs as well. So you have a CPS, you can actually make groups from people in Hack 101 and register like a group of friends and hack together. You have kind of a table of how many flags you get and do kind of an internal competition, or you can just do it yourself. A as I mentioned, getting flags get you private limits. And we also have a Discord channel with more like 5,000 people or something, that they are all hackers doing CPS and everything. So if you want to join, you can talk, meet some people, do some CPS, and get together. So choosing a program, that's really a good question, because we have a lot, so it's kind of hard to actually choose one and stick with. So you have different type of programs. The public programs are those that are open for everyone. You just sign up to HackerOne and start hacking a public program, and that's it. And there are some private programs that you actually need to get in much more close. There are not that many hackers hacking at the same time that program, so it's kind of positive. So you will have much more less people actually hacking, so maybe more chances to get a bug. The bounty table, sometimes you actually choose the program because of the bounty table. If you're starting, maybe you want to earn reputation to start getting more invites to the program. So maybe you're not looking you're not doing it for money, right? So you can start hacking a program that actually doesn't pay, but they will give you a reputation, and you will start making yourself a profile and getting better, and that will make you rank private programming. So it's a good way to start. But if you're looking for money, you just don't want to spend a lot of time hacking and not getting actual money for reward, right? So if you're looking for money, you need to choose according to the bonus table. We have different programs, and I think the top programs are paying from $250 to $15K, from low risk to high or critical risk. So I don't know here actually, but in Argentina, $250 for a low bug is a lot of money. So a lot of people starting to do more money in that area. We have tons of different skills. If you are good with mobile hacking, web application hacking, code reviewing, crypto, there are a lot of programs right now, all these crypto coins and wallets and smart contracts. And there are actually not that many people trained or with the knowledge to actually hack crypto. And so we have a lot of stuff there. If you know crypto, actually ask me about it, because so many programs and not so many hackers actually hack. So you will get rich probably if you know crypto. Authenticate or not. You have different types of scopes. Sometimes you have huge web applications that will take you years and years to hack. And sometimes you just have tons of different assets all there, right, in the internet, and you need to do some frequent start looking at what to hack. Do you want to actually create an account, log in, and start learning the web application, or do you just want to look all the packets that this guy was hacking? And that's fair. We have a lot of stuff, and you can do whatever you want. And then you have bigger scopes and smaller scopes. I call it this. It's not the actual name, but I have been hacking Verizon Media, for example, lately. These guys own Yahoo, Verizon, Tumblr, everything. How the internet rolling. So these guys have a huge program. We have a public program and a private program. And for example, I called a big scope when they have these dash, the asterisk.something.com. You can do you can have anything under whatever that means that Yahoo.com. So you can start doing some recon and getting tons of assets and get some cool bugs. And I go small scopes to when they have only one application and you actually need to be close to, for example, let's say Yahoo Web, where you use only Yahoo Web, right? So only hashes. That's kind of small scope. So when you're doing recon, I don't know if you are aware of what recon means, but normally I think it's a fundamental part of programming, because you need to spend a lot of time to actually do this recon and get to know what you're hacking. And that's kind of a difference with pen testing, because so I was saying, you only have 1 week, and they say, hey, please do the pen test for this application, and you actually need to learn what the application does, have the accounts, log in, start learning the business logic, do the report, maybe go to a meeting or something. So it's kind of really not enough time, right? So rigor is, I think, is a fundamental part, and if you're choosing like small scope or a web application, you actually need to log in, create different types of accounts, start seeing the different profiles, different roles, and start to processing these accounts, like trying to get privilege collection. And if you're choosing like a big scope, I was saying that the asterisk or the Dutch star or rigor, you will need to do some rigor in order to get subdomains, open board services, and everything out there, because you have tons of different bugs you could get from actually doing the rigor and hack the store, right? So you have different tools, a lot of tools already out there, but I recommend to create your own methodology. Like, I don't say like code your own tools, but maybe use different tools out there and maybe do some scripting and try to get something different, because otherwise, if you just grab a script from the web and run that, probably hundreds of people are doing the same thing, and you will probably get the same bugs they actually got and get a lot of duplicates, right? And we don't want. So this is kind of a visual guide to return. This is from a talk by ROADSEC. I don't know if you know it. You can follow him on Twitter. He watches a kind one. He's really good with return, and he made these awesome talks about return. So I won't try to do a talk about it, because he will kill me. he probably do that much better. So he made these slides, and actually that has a hyperlink. I will upload the slides later so you can have it every single URL I put in there. And he made this awesome slide. He's awesome talk, and you have a lot of information here to start doing return in the cool way. And we are working with Hackathon and doing kind of a cheat sheet for you guys to help, and to actually help you to do the return when you have these really big scopes. And that's what I was saying. You have to brute force subdomains, different environments. You have to do this recursively. You cannot just run straight and say, hey, I enumerate these subdomains and that's it. Actually, what I do, for example, is to run different tools, like recursively. So if I found a new subdomain, I will run the whole thing again. So it's like the script is never ending. It takes sometimes forever, but actually it's really good, and I have found some cool bugs. So I have a cloud in DigitalOcean or AWS, and I automate this, and I just leave it like that, like running forever, and then I take the time to actually start reading the different script, and it's really helpful. So this is just for you to have. We will upload this when we have finished this kind of a first version. It's not like really fancy, need more time, but the information right there is really cool and really good. Yeah, you have a lot of different tools and different techniques. So reporting, this is kind of a good thing if you are a pentester, because I normally say that the more technical you are, or the more hacker you are, the less you have skills for writing a report, and probably you don't really want to write reports. You don't like it. You find it boring, or you hate it. So normally when you are super hacker, like really technical, and you hack a lot, maybe your report sucks, and that's a really bad thing, because in Bug Bounty, your report doesn't really, it's clear, and the program doesn't really understand what you're trying to say. They might just label the finding as duplicate, as not applicable, or whatever. And it happened to me, for example, very recently. I reported a process scripting was exploited, using post instead of a get, like a regular one. And the program wasn't really aware of that. I won't say that they didn't really understand process scripting, but they kind of being able to say that. So I had to spend like really lot of time like making myself clear. And it happens to us because we don't really speak English as a native language. That is, we have one more step, right? One more difficult, one more like impediment to actually write the report, right? So you want to be like really clear and try to make yourself clear so they can understand. So my recommendation here is like you need to do always step by step to reproduce the issue. Like step 1, log in here. Step 2, do this. Here's a screenshot. Here's a video. I'll reproduce it here, and be like super clear about it. And it's really important to demonstrate the impact because sometimes you just say, hey, I found a process scripting. They will just say, oh, okay, yeah, it's a low rate. And maybe with that process scripting, you can actually, I don't know, take over an account or do some cool stuff. And it's much more worth it to do a proof of concept to actually prove your point and show that you can take over the account that only say, hey, I want to open rate or process scripting. Actually, it happened to me recently. I found an open rejection and I made this huge proof of concept of how I was going to steal your account, right? I made the whole site, the fake site. I stole the credentials and everything, spent a lot of time. Finally, it was a duplicate. But they understand, and actually they are grateful for that. You know, I took the time to write the report. They understand. And I actually have a friend, for example, he doesn't really speak English very well. So sometimes he's having trouble trying to explain himself, and he normally gets like an applicable or a duplicate, and maybe I try to help him a little bit better with English. And the same report, he got labeled as not applicable, and when I helped him, they got a triage because everything was in the way of the report was made and how he was trying to explain that. So it's really important to have a really cool, report. Learn a little bit of Markdown. It's a kind of a language, you can say, to write it, like having bullets, having different, type of letters, like underscore something. If you learn this, and that's actually another, thing, cheat sheet, you will help you to write a report. Another thing is learning from public disclosure report. You can always use like the hacktivity from HackerOne and find the same bug you already found. For example, let's say you found a process scripting. You will want to find in Google like, hey, HackerOne process scripting, and see the public reports and learn from the mistakes of the other researchers, or actually learn from what they do. Like they made a really cool box. You can actually try to copy that or replicate that and try to explain it. So, and you will also find a lot of disclosure reports that really suck. Because people sometimes they just didn't find a vulnerability and the program is saying, hey, this is not a bug actually, but the researcher wants to disclose. So you find, some crappy bugs, and it's kind of funny sometimes to read, and you can learn from that as well. Also, we have a documentation there on how to write a good report. And as I mentioned, I will share the slides if you want to access that and learn a bit. And actually, I have a video here, but I don't have internet, so I have to.
I'm Nathaniel. I work on a product security team at Dropbox, and I also head up our Bug Bounty program. So I think my tip on the program side for new hackers is working on communication skills and writing really solid reports. Sometimes it takes multiple back and forth sessions to try to understand what the impact is or how to reproduce a vulnerability, where something like a video or images or even just showing things like your BERT requests would really help. And also being very clear about what's the threat model. How would an attacker actually exploit this? That really helps us really frame it and pay out more.
So basically he's saying kind of the same what I'm saying. And if you have a great report, it will probably get you more money. And this is coming from the Dropbox side, like the product side. So they are saying if you put some videos in there, maybe you put the whole bar request and a good step by step, we will actually pay you more because we will understand the issue right away, and we don't have to, spend a lot of time like asking you for more information and going, all like a couple of days with the communication between the hacker and the pro. So that's kind of my talk. Do you have any questions?